What is going on, guys? Smooth Racing here, back with a brand new video, and today we've got F1 2014 United States Grand Prix review. This was the 17th round of the FIA F1 2014 season. Now I know it is a day late, this review, but of course it was, I think, about 10 PM the race finished, and I really just didn't have time to upload, edit and record this review, so I thought I'll just wait until Monday, try and make this review the best possible review I can do. And basically I'll be assessing each driver's performance. Basically, you guys probably already know what happened in the race. You guys probably already watched the race, and if not, you know, there's plenty of available highlights to watch on YouTube, probably BBC iPlayer. There'll be their highlights as well to watch, and if you're watching outside of the UK, I'm sure there'll be some kind of available highlights to you. If not, leave a comment down below and I'll definitely find some highlights for you guys to watch. But anyway then, let's go for the result. As we know then, Hamilton won from Rosberg, Ricciardo, Massa, Bottas, Alonso, Vettel, Magnussen, Maldonado and Verne. Then it was Grosjean, Button, Raikkonen, Gutierrez and Fiat all missing out points, and of course Hülkenberg, Perez and Suttel then all retiring, and of course Perez and Suttel retiring after on the first lap, just after a few corners. I think it was in the final sector, you know, didn't even complete a full lap of the race, and that was just really upsetting for me as a Suttel fan. I thought this was the perfect opportunity for him to score points, but of course Perez did you know, throw it all away. Good chance for Perez to score points as well, so it's a big shame for both drivers. You know, obviously I blame Perez, and he's rightfully, I think, got a 7th-place grid penalty for Brazil, but I'm not going to hold it against him. You know, I'm going to let him kind of carry on, because I think he's been performing really well since Hungary, since he was taken out by his teammate. I'm not sure what's happened. Maybe that's given him a bit of an incentive to carry on, but he's been consistently beating his teammate Hülkenberg in this latter part of the season. So nothing against Perez, you know, even though it was a big mistake. Suttel's done them, you know, plenty of times before. So even as a Suttel fan, I don't blame Perez. You know, even though he is my second driver, of course. I suppose that's a second favourite driver. It does have a bit to do with it, but massive shame for Suttel, especially considering this could be his, you know, third to last ever Grand Prix, and you know, it's the last Grand Prix in America. It could be quite a, you know, sad way to end the season, so I'm really hoping he can score some points, and you know, hopefully Sauber could even challenge Lotus if you get a few good points hauls. Let's talk about the few people then. Well, Hülkenberg, he retired with an engine change. We'll be going from the back of the grid, I think, to the front. Danny Fiat, he had a really strange end to the race. He was definitely on cue for points, possibly going to finish ahead of his teammate. I'd like to see the battle between Verne and Fiat. For Verne would probably come out on top for me, because I've seen the wheel-to-wheel battles between Fiat and Verne, and so far, sorry, it's my phone going off there, so far Jean-Luc Verne has definitely come out of them. It's definitely been one of the best races for me this season. So he did a brilliant job to get to 10th place. Of course, he did get a 5-place grid. He got a 5-second penalty for clattering into Romain Grosjean. So arguably, for me, that was probably about right. It's great to see, you know, the racing continue, but really, that's probably pushing a bit too far for me. You know, this is, after all, it's so easy to get a puncture. He could have got a puncture, and you know, it did cost him a position or two, I believe. Esteban Gutierrez had a really poor race. He was about 1 second off Suttel all the way through qualifying, I believe, and that was probably going to be the similar story in the race, and it kind of was. He was definitely the slowest guy out there. Of course, only with Fiat having some trouble at the end, Gutierrez managed to overtake him. Kimi Raikkonen, another disappointing race in 13th. Button, his tyres really fell off towards the end. He fell to 12th. Romain Grosjean just missing out on points in 11th place. You got Jean-Luc Verne up there in 10th place, and of course after that 5-second penalty, which Maldonado also got, so it kind of balanced it out fair enough. But you know, Maldonado, of course, that was blatant driver error, you know, speeding behind the safety car, you know, after Bianchi's crash. Is that really you know, very sensible from the F1 drivers? Definitely not. I don't think they've really learned, sadly, that much from that Japanese incident. Of course, Verne doing a great job to bring home some points, and of course Maldonado's first points of the season, 2 points as well, which does move him ahead of Bianchi, I believe, in the standings, and brings Lotus up onto 10 points, which is a slight buffer away from Sauber, which they could be quite fearful of. You never know with Lotus. They really want to try and cement in that 8th place, as crazy as it seems, and even if they could get some mega results in the last race, there is an outside chance of even catching Toro Rosso, but that, of course, is a long way off. But Maldonado then doing well. He's climbed a few places now. I believe he'll be in 16th place in the Drivers' Championship, and of course a few points closer now to Grosjean. Just good to get some points on the board, and of course already bettered his 2013 title points tally. Kevin Magnussen there in 8th then. He had just got overtaken by Vettel, I believe, on the last lap, and Vettel, of course, nearly caught Alonso, just half a second away from Alonso. He had a flying end to the race, of course, being on the soft compound tyres. I thought it was a bad decision to pit at the end, but it turns out it was a fantastic decision, working a bit like Singapore for a few of the drivers like Verne, and being able to come through the field towards the end, and of course people like Button and I believe Raikkonen, being on the wrong tyres, being really worn tyres, kind of falling out of the points. I think the Button fulfilled the role of basically Bottas in Singapore. Alonso then, as I mentioned, another solid job for him in 6th, when he had kind of the tier 1 of Formula 1 with Bottas and Massa. They did quite a good job. I think it was a poor strategy from Williams. Massa so close to his podium that he so desperately wants. I think he's only got, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe 1 podium this year. I'm not quite sure, but a great, fantastic job from Ricciardo to fend off both the Williams. They were kind of reversed, 3rd, 4th, 5th. They were kind of swapped around. Massa doing a good job to beat Bottas, and Ricciardo doing a fantastic job to beat them both with some fantastic overtaking. Was really impressed with Ricciardo. Is probably going to be my driver of the day, just ahead of the race winner Lewis Hamilton, who did a brilliant job to jump his teammate. Great pace from him. Great overtake on Rosberg. I don't think he was expecting it. And it was another solid race then from Hamilton. Has definitely got a commanding lead in the championship, and of course Ricciardo's definitely got P3 sorted now in the championship, and it's definitely between the 2 Mercedes drivers. Of course, further back there's a great fight between Bottas, Alonso and Vettel. I believe Alonso and Vettel now level on points, and of course Bottas, I think, is only probably 4 points ahead of them, maybe 4 or 6 points ahead of them. And of course further down the changes were, I believe, Maldonado, of course, scoring points, and maybe, I think, Magnussen with him scoring points, and Raikkonen, Perez not. I think he jumps up a couple of places, and I think Massa does overtake Hülkenberg as well. But anyway, to racing then, to conclude, I'd give the race an 8 out of 10. Driver of the day, just Ricciardo from Hamilton, and maybe even Maldonado in there, but I suppose it was driver of it, cost him his podium, his points, but driver of the day then, Ricciardo just ahead of Hamilton, and the race racing was 8 out of 10. Let me know your race rating and your driver of the day down in the comment section below. I've been racing. I really hope you've enjoyed this, and see you guys next time. Goodbye.